All right, let's get into it finally. Let's take a look at some of these city leagues in the Journey Together format. I guess like post, I mean, there's so many of them. We're not going to look at all of them here, but let's see what's winning over in Japan. Post Champions League in the Journey Together format. The set we're going to be getting next week. We could only take a look. I mean, there's so many winning lists. I kind of like only want to take a look at the winning lists. But sometimes when you click on some of these city leagues, there's like some interesting stuff past the winning decks. So maybe we'll dive like a little bit deeper into some of these, because we could just take a look at the winning decks. But I mean, already right away, there's like this is just like Terrapagos box, which seems like one of the best decks in the new format by far, and probably gonna be one of the most popular decks. It's also one of the coolest decks, to be honest, as well. One Cornerstone and Terra box does not beat walls. Does it not? Is one just not enough? Yeah, this is definitely one of the... It's not only does it seem like one of the best decks, it also is kind of one of the coolest decks. Like, this deck is pretty sick, to be honest. They have their own Cornerstone and Healing. Yeah, if they attack with Cornerstone, you can hit it with... The thing is, they don't accelerate energy into play that fast, though, right, Jesse? I'd have to actually play a game, because like they aren't very good at pivoting between attackers, right? Like, this deck can pivot way more aggressively between attackers. Turbo Energize? Yeah, I could see it. I'd have to actually like play the matchups. But yeah, the main strength of this deck for sure is the Water Pond. There's no bench barrier anymore. For anyone who's unfamiliar with this deck, with rotation, we lose bench barrier, and that makes just snipe attacks in general super, super strong, which includes the Torrential Pump from the Wellspring Mask Ogre Pond. 100 damage, 120 to the bench, shuffle 3 energy back into your deck. 100, 120 to the bench. You're using that to gain the early prize advantage in a lot of matchups, and then you follow up with attackers like Teal Mask Ogre Pond up against stuff like Charizard. Pikachu EX is really good against Raging Bolt, and then obviously in the late game, Ursaluna is good against everything. And then you have Clefairy in here as a solid attacker into Dragapult, because it makes all the Dragon Pokemon weak to Psychic, and then for a Psychic and a Cutlass, it does 20 plus 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon. Wait, is it possible this doesn't do enough? Could the Dragapult player actually have... Oh no, but you have Area 0, so you do have Area 0, so you should be able to get there. Pika EX is easily countered by Slithering, but sure. Yeah, but it's still good, right? Because if you go, I don't know, if you draw the first, if you go Pika EX knockout, the thing, does Fanrodom KO Slitherwing back? Fanrodom does KO Slitherwing back, right? Because then you can just go into a one prizer of your own, KO the Slitherwing back, right? Or you go like Clefairy with the Pearl, and then it's a one prizer KO and a one prizer. So I feel like it puts you in a pretty good spot. I would definitely give this deck the edge over Raging Bolt, I think, for sure. Wellspring can be good for them too. They got Hooters. Yeah, it's true, right? You can go Wellspring, KO. You can either take a double one prize knockout if they open like a Fanrodom, you go KO Fanrodom, KO Hoot Hoot. Or if they do the Slithering thing, then you can go, okay, Wellspring Ogre Pond, KO your Hoot Hoot, KO your active. And this deck's engine is Crispin. Like, it is just a Crispin deck. There's 4 Crispin in here. I actually am a little bit surprised to not see a counter catcher. I haven't seen like a ton of other builds, but I guess you are kind of, this deck is kind of the aggressor. This is like, the term doesn't get used often in the Pokemon TCG, but this is a deck that I would call like a tempo deck in the Pokemon TCG. Like, you're trying to set pace, you're trying to set tempo. You're not just kind of like, yeah, you're trying to, like, it's different. Like, I wouldn't call Raging Bolt a tempo deck, because Raging Bolt is just like, knock out the active Pokemon no matter what it is, and I'm not always going to be ahead in the prize exchange, but I'm just going to keep knocking out the active, and I hope it's enough. But a deck like this, you're always trying to stay ahead in the prize exchange by a turn, to the point where your opponent can't catch up. So it's a little bit different than something like a Raging Bolt. It's not just like a mindlessly aggressive deck. It's like, with the attackers I have, with the options I have, I can get ahead in the prize exchange, and then the goal from there is to stay ahead in the prize exchange with a deck like this. Whereas Raging Bolt is just a literally knock out the active and hope it's enough. So it's a little bit different, I would say, for sure. But tempo decks in the Pokemon TCG, tempo is like a constant thing in the Pokemon TCG for a lot of decks and a lot of matchups. It's not a term that is used very often in the Pokemon TCG, because it doesn't really make sense to use it in the Pokemon TCG compared to other card games, but if we're gonna use the term ever in the Pokemon TCG, I think this would be a deck that you'd use it with, calling this like a tempo deck. But yeah, this is gonna be one of the big decks next format for sure. A lot of options, a lot of ways to build it. A lot of, like, we see a lot of options in this build specifically, but there's a lot more things you can do with this. And putting here as like tech options for like matchups, like in this build specifically, there's no way to beat walls. Like if your opponent sets up a Fergaraf EX, you kind of just lose. Like it's just kind of over. I don't think you have a way to beat the Fergaraf. Yeah. Not great, not great. So if you have like a Cornerstone, although we did see Jesse in chat saying that Cornerstone was not enough for the matchup. I could see one Cornerstone not being enough. But you could theoretically set up 2 Cornerstones with this list, right? Between the Sparkling Crystal and the Night Stretchers, even with just 1 Fighting Energy in the list, you should be able to. But I'm sure there's other things that can be used as answers for Fergaraf as well. I'm sure there's other ways to get through and deal with it. It's harder than it sounds. Yeah, I could see it. I could see them just like setting up 2 of their own things and then just being fine. I guess maybe going off of just like what I saw at Champions League. I don't think any of the wall decks at Champions League. And actually, I'm gonna go back and take a look at them to confirm, to make sure I'm not misspeaking here. But I feel like none of these played Cornerstone, right? Oh no, there is one. There is one. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they all have one. Oh, this one has 2. All right, I am wrong. I was like, I feel like I didn't see any corner in the games we saw from walls up against other decks in Champions League. No one ever used the Cornerstone, so I don't remember any of these having Cornerstone. But they all definitely have Cornerstone. Yeah, no one ever used it. No one ever used the Cornerstones, but. Everyone's just using Fergaraf over and over again. All right, there's a Terra Charizard deck here as well. Oh, we're talking... Yeah, we literally... Speaking of just like abusing snipe attacks, even Charizard is doing it. This Charizard build here with Noctowl has Water Pawn in it. So even... even the Charizard decks are like, well, I can't do this alone, man. I need something here. We need someone... And Charizard brought along the Water Pawn in this build here. Plays the Sparkling Crystal as well as, like, once again, another enabler for the Water Pawn. Only 1 basic water. Also has a Cornerstone with a Fighting Energy. And then a 101 Dusknoir, which obviously leans a little bit more heavily into the Dusknoir. Or the Charizard strategy. Dusknoir's pretty good with Charizard, right? You appreciate the gift sub there. Stuff in the red over to X Factor. And then I appreciate the 15 months there. Silent Burst. So yeah, as you can see, in a format with no Manaphy, everyone is trying to abuse the best snipe Pokemon. And it does seem to be Water Pawn for sure. Definitely seems to be Water Pawn. With the amount of snipe going into the format, is Rabsca ever worth it? I have thought about that. I think it's possible, especially, and this is like actually kind of, I didn't realize Lance rotated, but some kind of like TM Evo Dusknoir deck, or excuse me, TM Evo Dragapult deck with Rabsca seems decent to give yourself an edge in the mirror matches. Although if they have Dusknoir, it's still a little bit weird. But then also it gives you, like, if you go second, you can just TM Evo out the Rabsca to play around Water Pawn, which could be interesting. That could be interesting. So that's like something to like potentially think about as well. Yeah, they have the Ditto in here as well. Also Area 0, so it's really leaning into like the Terra side of things. But I guess if you're playing a 4/4 Noctowl build, you probably need a little bit of bench space. You need to go like wide, at least on 1 turn, to be able to utilize your owls efficiently. I think it has a Ditto in here. And yeah, Ditto does seem kind of just good in any deck that is like just said, any deck that's playing Fan Rotom. If you're a Noctowl engine, Ditto seems kind of good. It seems kind of good. So have you seen the Archaludon Poison deck? No, but I think we'll make our way to some of those eventually. We'll take a look at least one Zoroark build, but we'll look for a winning one later on. Here's a Gholdengo Scizor build. It actually has the Scizor EX in here. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 50 less damage from attacks for 2 colorless, 70 damage, and then discard up to 2 Metal Energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 120 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So this is just literally... This has to be an anti-walls card, right? Like, this card sucks. So it's literally just here as an anti-walls card, right? Literally just for Cornerstone. But you get to play the Scizor line. You get the free retreat Scythers. That also means you get to play this Scizor, which this Scizor is pretty good. I've been a big hater. I've been a huge hater of Scizor Gholdengo Actually, speaking of that though, didn't someone like get? Yeah, there was a 2-2 this right here. Gholdengo got top 16 at Vancouver with a 2-2 Scizor in it. We actually saw a 1-1 Scizor build get top like 16 at EYC as well. So, I mean, people be playing these Scizors, man. I still think it sucks, but I do think there's a little bit more validity to it in this format to have something that can deal with Cornerstone Ogerpon, because otherwise you just kind of get bodied. I feel like. So it's got the Scizor line in here. You got the Scizor EX as an answer to the Cornerstone Ogerpon. That's kind of cool. Supporter lineup, kind of similar to what we had been seeing recently. Some Morty's Convictions. This one, search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon EX, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Dude, cards like this, I feel like in a deck like this just suck. You have no way to, like, what is the term that is used in, like, Magic? Tutor? You have no way to, is that what it's called in Magic? Is that the term they use? Tutor? You have no way to cherry pick this out of your deck. Why are we playing this? Like, are you just hoping that you go, like, turn 1, Arvin for a Palafin, TM Evo is, I guess, prized? Or you get it first, you just Palafin first, give me goals, and, oh, I top decked Kirano. All right, play that triple Gholdengo. Like, I hate one-ofs like this in decks because it's so, like, when people talk about RNG in the Pokemon TCG, this is RNG in the Pokemon TCG. Like, everything else that people talk about as far as like bad luck or someone getting lucky, I feel like it's just people not understanding RNG. This is RNG being introduced into the deck for like no reason. It's just like, I'll just play one. You know, sometimes I top deck it on turn 2. Sometimes I don't. Like, like this is actual RNG that you're playing towards. Yeah, search your deck for 3 EX Pokemon. So theoretically, really good on turn 2 as Gholdengo when you go first. Theoretically, really, really good. I feel like this is not the reality. It's also a TM Evo build. So when you go second, you know, Arvin TM Evo, pretty good combo. Get your Gholdengos and play that way. And this is kind of like a dead card later in the game, but it's technically a draw 3/4, right? Yes. So if we played like 4 of these, now that would be a cool build. If I saw a build of Gholdengo, they were choosing first and they played like 4 of these, so you have it turn 2 consistently. That's kind of cool. Kirano for Fez. That is also cool. The Kirano for Fez is also kind of cool. But then we also don't find our Energy Search Pro, which is like not very cool. Then we don't find our Energy Search Pro, which is not very cool. The only other new card that they have in here is the Stadium, which definitely seems like a pretty powerful card. I mean, you lose Pokestop. I think if Pokestop was still legal, I think Gholdengo would be playing Pokestop, probably. But hey, you can't argue against some energy recovery in Stadium form. Like, second best thing, it seems like. Once during each player's turn, the player may put up to 2 basic Lightning Energy cards from their discard pile into their hand. And of course, we're playing 2 basic Lightning. We're still playing Energy Search Pro, but we are playing the 2 basic Lightning. Actually, like looking at this list specifically, I feel like it should be like a 3-3 split of basic Metal, basic Lightning. Pricing a basic Lightning sounds like a big L when you play these. I feel like it should be like a 3-3 split. 4 Metal feels like just kind of a little bit overkill in general. So why not kind of make sure you get that extra value out of your Stadium cards? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that, I don't think. If you with Arvin, Cypher for Kirano going second turn 1. Oh, wait, actually, okay, there is some synergy there. All right, you might be cooking, actually. There is some synergy there. 4 Metal sucks, but Scizor wants it. Scizor EX sucks. Oh, true, there is the Scizor EX in here. Okay, actually, maybe the 4 Metal does make sense, actually. I forgot about the Scizor EX in this build. Okay, with this build specifically, you maybe do want the 4 Metal. It's like Mount Cornet, right? You can't live it in here for 1 Lightning, I believe. This one says put up to. So maybe Mount Cornet, you maybe had to get 2 medals, but this one can get up to. I don't remember Mount Cornet's exact wording. Doesn't every successful Dangle list play 4 metal? I could be wrong. No, you're definitely wrong. But now I gotta prove you wrong. It's 3, right? It's 3 metal? Yeah, it's 3 metal. Everyone plays 3 metal. 3 metal is like by far the norm for sure. Unless you're literally talking about in the city leagues. Okay, here we'll take a look at another Gholdengo Scizor build. Let's see if there's anything crazy in this one. Opting for not the new Stadium. They're going for Artisans. Plays 4 basic metal, still with the Energy Surge Pro. I guess you do just kind of want to play a minimum amount of energy. Maybe that's what they're trying to hit here. Monkey Dory, of course. No Scizor EX. They're not preparing themselves for the Cornerstone. Besides that, the lists are pretty similar. The other list had a Rigid Band. This one has 2 TM Evo. Pokegears plus Arvin, so leaning a little bit more heavily into Arvin, trying to find that turn 1 Arvin. I mean, Pokegear past that are still kind of good as well. But yeah, not playing the new stadium is interesting. I guess Artisan gives you a counter stadium plus just more ways. Artisan is just like more ways to find basic Pokemon turn 1 plus a counter stadium versus playing like more nest balls. So I guess that's like fine. Although I don't know how important a counter stadium is in that format, to be honest. Because if a counter stadium is not that important, you should just be playing more nest balls. So you don't want to give your opponent access to Artisan would be the thing. Okay, we can take a look at the Zoroark deck. I'm not gonna look at a ton of these. They're probably all pretty similar. If there's any other winning Zoroark decks, we'll take a look at them. But yeah, the new Zoroark EX, of course. Got the trade ability, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and then Night Joker for 2 dark energy. Choose one of your benched ends Pokemon attacks and use it as this attack. And there's only 2 ends Pokemon. This deck is literally just a Darmanitan deck, to be honest. 90 damage, discard all energy for this Pokemon attack is 9 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. And then for 2 colorless energy, 30 for each basic energy card in your opponent's discard pile. So against like Raging Bolt and like Gholdengo, I guess you could hit numbers with Darmanitan. The Darmanitan, oh, actually, is Gholdengo just a favorable matchup then because of Darmanitan? Because you can attack with the Darmanitan. This deck has to body Gholdengo, right? This should be a dub. Gholdengo's got to be a dub. This build specifically, you have the Retro M. Is the only other ends? Well, isn't there an Enge Joltik? There's one more Ends Pokemon, right? Am I trolling? I thought there was one more. 20 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon, and then 170. So 2 other. The powerful Rage is actually like the other. Enge Joltik and Ends Purloin. Oh, there's 2 more. Sigilyph. Oh wait, is there way more than I thought? There's 4 more. Are they all just bad? They're all just bad, right? That's why I haven't heard about them. Well, I've heard about them. Now that you're actually like, you're reminding me for sure. You appreciate the 56 months there, Slap. Appreciate the 8 months there, Antonio. 43 months coming in from Hollywood. Appreciate it, appreciate it. Joltik is kind of sick. Wait, what does Joltik do? Sigilyph wins if you have exactly 1 prize card. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember that now. Their damage, if you have a tool, they are paralyzed. If they have a tool, they're paralyzed. Ooh, that actually is interesting. Okay. Interesting. Wait, so you could like infinitely paralyze trap them? Interesting. And it discards the tool, no? Oh, does it discard the tool? That's not as good. Because then you like give them the out to not be paralyzed chained. Okay. You appreciate the 9 months there, Simo. Okay, discarding the tool is pretty bad. That's pretty unfortunate. Only 3-buddy Palafin in here is interesting, but I guess it doesn't find Darumaka, which is unfortunate. This build also is playing the Petron EX to poison your Zoroark. Also gives you mobility to be able to consistently get your Zoroark in the active. And then you do have the Binding Mochi in here as well to increase the damage potentially. I'm actually surprised to not see... Oh, I was gonna say, I'm surprised to not see any like Turo or anything, but I forgot about Ends Castle, which does reduce the retreat cost to 0 for all Ends Pokemon in play. So that's how you move your Darumaka there, of course. And then heavy on the Ionos, Arven. So it's like a comeback deck for sure. And you see the reversal energy and the counter catchers in here. So it's a big time comeback deck for sure. I feel like all the other builds of Zoroark that I had seen were playing the tool card that does plus 50 damage. You'll appreciate the 78 months there, Lock. Plus 50 damage if it's an EX. What is it, Maximum Belt? Yeah, I feel like all the other builds of Zoroark that I saw were playing Maximum Belt. But this one opting for the Unfair Stamp. So like maximum hand disruption between Iono and Unfair Stamp. And if you're wondering, for anyone who doesn't know, if you're wondering how we're getting 2 dark energy on our Zoroarks consistently, we got Ends PP up. Attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched Ends Pokemon. Which is like why I was talking, like this thing just bodies Gholdengo, right? Like this guy just bops him. I guess once they KO a Zoroark, if you respond to KO and Gholdengo with a Darmanitan, then they can KO Darmanitan, and a Darmanitan can't return KO it. Which would be interesting, actually. So maybe it's not as free of a dub against Gholdengo as I thought. It might not be as free of a dub as I thought. All right, is there anything else cool to look at in here? There's an Archaludon deck with some Scizor. Nothing crazy, though. Maximum Belt. The Charizard, some Dragapult, more Zoroark. We see how this Guardy deck is being built. We'll take a look at some more of the winning list, though. So a couple other Archaludon decks here. This is just, yeah, it just has the water pawn here instead of the grass pawn, but it is just, it's pawn box. This one has the Terapagos in it. Oh, wait, isn't that your answer to, no, that's not your answer to Fergraph. Terapagos is pretty good against Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon, but it doesn't answer Farigiraf. This deck needs a Farigiraf answer first, and then once they go into Cornerstone, well, what if you answered? Oh, could that be the switch up you do? Is like you Cornerstone their Farigiraf, and then they go to Cornerstone your Cornerstone, but then you have a Terapagos to answer their Cornerstone. Is that like the switch up we need here? There's a lot of cards to dedicate to Walls, but sure. I don't know, Jesse. Walls seems pretty good. Like, I think you got to dedicate. I think the card's got to be dedicated because Walls seems gross. We might not see another Archaludon. Oh, this is just Archaludon. Well, I guess it's just Archaludon with Gust, right? Which is kind of cool. Which is the 5 months there, United Kingsman. That is kind of cool. Pops double. You can only use this ability when you place Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. You got the doubles in here alongside Archaludon. This deck, Hop's double with Archaludon wishes Pokestop was still legal. Like, Pokestop would be so powerful in this deck. Run through your deck. Your Night Stretchers are so powerful. Like, it's on everyone's radar, so it can't be good, right? I mean, you say that, Jesse, but you say you're not going to tech for it, or you don't like the idea of teching for it. So it's like, if no one's teching for it, it's still good. Yeah, this deck wishes I let other people tech. Dude, this deck wishes Pokestop was still legal. Pokestop would be insane with this combination of cards. Being able to Pokestop, mill through your deck, mill your doubles, then you go Night Stretcher for double onto the whatever this thing is, the Wooloo, which would be crazy. This still seems like it could be okay, but it's not as powerful. Lack of Pokestop definitely means it's like not as powerful. Maximum Belt though, and Black Belt's training. We can be hitting for, hold up. Ooh, wait, we're coming up short, right? 40, 90. What does this do again? 310? So we're not even KOing a Dragapult. We're not KOing Dragapult. But if we go Relicanth plus Maximum Belt, that would KO with the Raging Hammer, right? So it's like, I guess, like a more aggressive way to KO Dragapults through Raging Hammer, which I guess could be okay. There's no Arvins in here, though. I think the point is for Zacian mostly. Oh, true. Maybe it is more so for Zacian. Because we can hit for what? 210, 260? But that's not even hitting that hard still. KO's Guardy. Oh, it does KO Guardy. Wait. Yeah, I guess it does KO Guardy, yeah. Bro, what's that Zacian doing there? Honestly, yeah, we have no damage modifiers in here for the Zacian. What is the Zacian doing here? Yeah, now that... Wait, why is there a Zacian in here? For Cornerstone? Ah, true, for Cornerstone. Yes, of course. We got to tech for Cornerstone. Very fair, very fair. Wait, how does this thing beat... Oh, Farigiraf is only basic EX Pokemon. Okay, okay, okay. All right, let's take a look. Next one. I mean, the winning deck was Dragapult. Dragapult, Dusknoir. Like, I just learned, I didn't even like think about it, but yeah, chat mentioned it to me. Lance does rotate, so they're trying to do their best here with Brock Scouting. Search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon or an evolution Pokemon, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So we're doing our best out here. Brock Scouting replacing. Honestly, I think I like Jack better than Brock Scouting. But it does allow you to, it's like more turn 1 Poffins, I guess. Man. Why not run Jack? Because Jack doesn't find basics. Dude, Lance was so good. Temu Lance, literally. Dude, this kind of makes you realize how good Lance was. Bro will never pronounce Jack correctly. Was it Jacques? Dude, I thought it was Jack. I'm gonna keep saying Jack. That would be a really, it'd be cool. That'd be a really cool way for your name to be spelled. Q makes it French. Like if my name was Jack, that's how I would want it to be spelled. It's not Jack. All right, we're locking in Jack. But yeah, Dragapult still seems pretty good. This one has Ursaluna and the Dusknoir stuff, which is interesting. Also has Defiance Band and a Bravery Charm. I actually had like a... I played against... At EUIC, I played against someone playing Dragapult with the Bravery Charm. And there was actually a situation where it could have been relevant because I had a really slow start. I went first, and my turn 2 attack was going to have to be with Rotom, which actually like comes up against Dragapult a decent amount. Rotom killed Badoo. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it was like game 2. I was like, I saw the Bravery Charm in game 2. What if he Bravery Charms the Badoo? And then I can't kill it with my Rotom V. But I didn't have a better play, so I attached my Rotom V. I was like thinking about maybe getting a different Pokemon instead of Rotom, but I just got Rotom V attached to it. He did Badoo me, but he did not have the Bravery Charm that turn. He didn't Bravery Charm with that turn. But it was a play that could have come up. And it's something I've thought about whenever I go up against a slow Pult. I always like think about it. It's like I want to try and like get to hands, try and avoid having to the Bravery Charm Badoo. But yeah, nothing crazy here. Just Dragapult doing what it can. This is an unfair stamp build, no crystal, which is interesting, I guess. No crystal. Only one Crispin. I guess it's not that crazy though. I guess it's Dusknoir and Monkey Dory. This is like both builds being put together into one here, kind of, to be honest. This is like the no Dusknoir build and the Dusknoir build being put into the same deck, which is interesting. Unfair to counter Terra Box. Isn't the crystal good against Terra Box though? Like, because if they freaking water pawn you, they're gonna leave you with 0 energy in play. You might be able to unfair stamp them, but you're not attacking that turn, right? If you hit them with the unfair stamp, you're not attacking that turn. You don't have Luminion to find your Crispin anymore, so you can't just go like Candy, Dragapult, Crispin. Like, I mean, this is too much. Yeah, the deck can't make those combos happen anymore without Force Seal Stone, without Luminion. Man, Dragapult got so much worse with the rotation. I actually kind of, I didn't really realize. I'm gonna check out this Archaludon build. It does have a Mew next to it. Okay, that's what I thought we were gonna see. Okay, this is the poison build. Oh, interesting. So is this deck like fake? Is Terrapagos Badoo just bad now? This is like fake Terrapagos Badoo, this feels like. This literally looks like Terrapagos Badoo, but it's not. But let's see what can we do here for damage. It's the Secret Box build. That's kind of cool. 4 Ancient Capsule for our group on that. Oh, we have 2 Baby Petch in here. So we're playing for the turn 1 Donk Cheese. No Guru. Ooh, no Guru is tough. That is tough. Also, no Force Seal Stone. Oh. No Force Seal Stone, too. That's rough as well. So we're playing for the turn 1 Cheese. 2 Squawk as well. Dude, this deck, literally, this deck just feels like it's Terrapagos Badoo, but it's not. Yeah, it's Terrapagos Badoo, but it's not. No DTE is terrible. Oh, yeah, also no DTE. What the heck? The deck just has nothing. Dead deck. So we got Archaludon doing 220, plus 40 for the Mochi when we're poisoned. So we're looking at 260. Plus Perilous Jungle is plus 20. So 290. We're only doing 290? What? What is Ditto doing here? It's a good question. I guess it's like just literally like a +1 of everything, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Kieran? Oh, there is a Kieran in here, so we can hit 320. I'm not gonna lie, this deck looks terrible. I'm not gonna lie, this deck looks terrible. Y'all have been asking me a decent amount about this deck in the chat today. This thing seems awful. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it seems so bad. It's so forced. This deck looks so forced. Yeah. It looks so forced. Owl Dunsparce, let's take a look. It is just a little bit more into the water pawn. Actually, this is like all water pawn. Extra draw power with the Dunsparce. If the Dunsparce had 100 HP, it would combo so well with Fan Rotom. So this is like Terra Box, but there's no grass. There's no extra energy acceleration from the grass. It's all in on Crispin. Like, Crispin has to carry this deck. Whereas the build with the Ogre Pawn, 1, you have an out to Charizard, trading back and forth with Charizard. And 2, you had extra energy acceleration to work with E-Switch, so you didn't have to rely on Crispin every single turn. But this build has to rely on Crispin like every single turn to set up different attackers. This build I'd like a little bit less. The trade-off is you cut all the Grass Ogre Pawn stuff, and then you add in all these Dunsparce stuff. Yo, appreciate the 42 months there, Ozzy. And a son, I got you. I came to see Dollar Tree Terra Box. I mean, this is it. You're seeing it. Doesn't this one just get farmed by Charizard? Now that you mention it. You do, but Charizard also seems pretty bad. So I don't know if that's like a big concern, to be honest. I kind of just like said that, but like, I'm also, that's like not a reason to not play a deck, I don't think. Yeah, having a bad Charizard matchup does not seem like that big of a deal in the format. You appreciate 7 months there, Fossilworth. So what do we just look at? Check this one out. Let's take a look at a Gardevoir deck. Let's see what they're looking like right now. What people are doing. All right, so we got the Gardevoir line, of course, a 3/2/2, 3 rare candy. Bro, honestly, I'm feeling like a 3/1/4 candy type of build. I don't know. This too curly. Why do we not have 4 rare candy in here, bro? I'm trying to get turn 2 candy guardy, and I'm trying to start swinging. Why do we have 2 Curlias and 3 rare candies when we could be playing 4 rare candies and just 1 Curlia? Like, what are we doing here? Monkey Dories, of course, still. Drifloon, Screamtail, usual suspects. Mew plus Pheasantipity for draw power now. The Badoo to slow things down, potentially still in the early game. And then there's a Clefairy in here. Got that way to 1-hit KO, the Dragapult. But this deck doesn't have Area 0. So Dragapult can play around Clefairy from Gardevoir. But I guess the Monkey Dories could maybe make up for that, right? So we're doing, what is this doing? 20 for each bench Pokemon in play. 20 plus. So we can get 120 on our side guaranteed, which is only 240. If they have 1 bench Pokemon, we're looking at 260. You attack with Guardy. Oh, that's right. It changes the weakness of the Dragon Pokemon to play to Psychic, not just for the Clefairy, but for everyone. All right, true. I definitely forgot that. I'm not going to lie. This will lose to Badoo, so... Oh, that's true. I guess maybe that's a reason you have to lean a little bit heavier into Curlia. But there's no Team Evo in here. Why would you not play a Team Evo? Just play a Team Evo, right? Isn't Team Evo your out to... Shouldn't that be your out to dealing with Badoos, is playing a Team Evo? The lack of Team Evo here is weird. Despite running double Curlia. There's still a 3 Arven in this build. But there is 3 Bravery Charm. Protect the squad. The lack of Evo is troubling. But I could see that being a good enough reason to play 2 Curlia, to be honest. Like... yeah. I could see that being a good enough reason to play 2 Curlia is to deal with Badoo. But I think you should have a Team Evo in here as well, for sure. And then I've seen quite a few different ace specs in these post-rotation Guardy builds. This one is rocking the blender. Discard 5 cards from your deck. So you're just trying to get 5 psychic energy in the discard pile. Be aggressive with that. Have that as an option. Seems okay. Still heavy on the counter catcher. I feel like Gardevoir is becoming... It has to be a more aggressive deck. This format, but still playing 2 counter catcher and a boss and 2 professor's research, and then 4 night stretcher. Although the night stretcher is kind of cool because it does combo with Brilliant Blender, so you can like Brilliant Blender away like Gardevoir EX, and then night stretcher Gardevoir candy into Gardevoir, start attacking with something. So that is kind of cool. That combo there. 4 Palafin, of course, some Artisan. Everyone's playing these Artisans. But I haven't really seen like a stadium that needs to be countered. Oh no, I guess Jamming Towers, right? Like, this one doesn't have Jamming Tower, but most of the Archaludons we've seen have Jamming Tower. All right, what else is worth looking at here? Palafin. All right, let's take a look at the Palafin deck. Does Palafin lose anything with rotation? Like crazy? Vault plays 2 jamming. Oh, do they? Okay, that'd be a good enough reason, yeah. Irida? Ooh, it does lose Irida. Here we go, Palafin. Only 2 0 to hero Palafins. I guess they do get shuffled back in the deck. We don't have Irida anymore. There's 4 Ultra Ball. It is playing the Weavile. So anyone who doesn't know what this combo does, you use Pecci X. Yeah, you use Pecci X to push Weavile in the active, and then Weavile says once during your turn when this Pokemon goes from your bench to the active, you switch one of your opponent's bench basic Pokemon to the active. You grab that, bring it to the active, and then Palafin hits for 250, so you're like 1 KO and Pheasantipides. I guess there's like a lot less liabilities now, though, right? It's like Pheasantipity and Mew, but there's no Rotom, there's no Luminion. Squawkabilly is still there as a liability, but this guy definitely lost a lot of value with rotation for sure. 2/2 to Dunsparce for draw power, I guess, and then he's playing one of this Palafin for the got the Jet Punch for 30. It's just like a 1 prize there. You can also Justice Kick for 210 if you can build up enough energy in play. There's a Monkey Dory in here. What for like new cards? Anything crazy? Maximum Belts over hit for 300, and there is a 1 of Gravity Mountain, of course. Gotta have the Gravity Mountain. But how are we finding it? Dude, how are you ever finding this Gravity Mountain? You're just not... You have to just like naturally draw into it off Iono. That's it? You have draw power with Fez and Dun, but like, I don't think we're seeing this thing. It feels like we're not seeing this. If we had 2, I'd come out around on a little bit if we had 2 of them in here. You're drawing into it every time. Squawks and Clefairy. Well, no one's going to be benching Clefairy against this deck, though. All right, let's see. Anything else worth? A Hydreigon deck? Hydrapple? Nothing crazy, though, right? Yeah, I didn't expect anything too crazy. About what I expected from a Hydrapple deck. We might not see many Hydreigon builds, though, so let's take a look at this one. Is there anything crazy going on here, though? Or is it just kind of Hydreigon? It looks like just Hydreigon, right? This is what we've come to expect from Hydreigon. Nothing wild. What is this? You can only use this card if you discard a card from your hand. Draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. What? That seems terrible. Is that really better? When are you playing this card? When are you doing that? Wouldn't we rather just have like a 4th Iono? Yeah, we're not playing that card. All right, let's take a look at this one. Anything crazy going on in this one? Ooh, hold up. We vengeful 3 of them. 3 vengeful punch. Wait, when are these things triggering? Oh wait, is this anti? Oh wait, this is how you beat Raging Ball. Wait, but that is it. Raging Ball plays Jamming Tower, right? Is this literally just for the Raging Ball matchup? Pikachu EX? Oh, and Pikachu EX. Bro, we got him, bro. Wait, genius. Oh my gosh. You maybe switch over to Twitch chat over YouTube since you do not read those comments. No, I do. I read all the comments. There's just like periods of time where I'm not replying because I'm talking. Clef 100% should be in that deck with so much fan rotom. Also, Blender and 4 Stretcher becomes a sweet combo to get any. Klefki does seem pretty good though, actually. Now that you mentioned it, iChance. Yeah, Klefki does seem kind of good. For anyone who doesn't know what Vengeful Punch does, if the Pokemon this card attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, put 4 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So that lines up, so then your 220 KOs Raging Bolt. It also means if this thing dies to a Pikachu, you can respond KO the Pikachu. It kind of makes me think, between this and like potential Maximum Belt, is Arven Archaludon the move? Is Arven's Archaludon the move? That could be the move. Let's find these tool cards. There's also, I mean, if I'm playing a research and I own over 2 turns and I play 3 Vengeful Punch, I better find one of them, right? I'm finding a Vengeful Punch. So if we're playing 3 of them, of course. I appreciate 20 months there, Team Abra. Dude, if I lost to a Vengeful Punch, I would rage so hard. Yeah, the Vengeful Punch is interesting. It is cool though. It does have like function, right? It is useful. So I like that. All right, Dragapult. Let's take a look at these Dragapults real fast. No, it is still just Dusknoir, Brock. Okay, Unfair Stamp. EXP share? Hey, I don't want to... I'm not trying to brag or anything. I might have been the first person to put EXP share in Dragapult. I'm just saying that. I just wanted to put that out there. I might have been the first. Because I did it back like when the card first came out, I think. I don't remember. I just want that to be known, okay? All right, here we go. Oh, this is Raging Bolt. Okay, is this also Raging Bolt? Okay, I was gonna say, we haven't seen a Raging Bolt deck yet. Let's take a look at them though. Let's take a look at what Raging Bolt's doing. So it is the owl build now. Okay, someone explain to me, what are we doing with this thick owl? Why we got the thick boy in here? 80 HP, 2 retreat cost. I mean, we do play Latias. What is the merit for the thick boy? Survives Rotom attack. Ooh, he do be tanking the Rotom attack. That is true. He lives the 70. Oh. No Poffin anyways. Also true. No Poffins, yeah. Halucha prevention. It can't be Halucha cheese. Okay, yeah, I guess because we're not playing Poffin. That's got to be the main thing, right? It's like, well, we're not playing Poffin, so we may as well play the thick one, right? That makes sense. That makes sense. That does make sense. So, for anyone who's curious what Raging Bolt looks like after rotation, not this exact 60, obviously, but this is what I've mostly seen. Go into the Area 0 plus Noctowl. Of course, you still have your Ogerpons. Raging Bolt's your main attacker. This one has like a fighting Ogerpon in here. It's a disruptive attacker. It's got the Slitherwing in here as well. But besides that, it's Raging Bolt still. The thing is, the deck is a lot slower now, though. The deck is a lot slower. It feels like Raging Bolt's a go first deck now in every matchup for sure. There was already matchups where Raging Bolt would want to go first last format anyways, but now it's like 100% go first, right? Isn't Trolley better than Prime in that deck? No, definitely not. Prime is still just so broken with like more aggressive decks, but even this deck's not as aggressive as it used to be. I feel like we're going first in every matchup, just trying to establish a nice board, and then we get into turn 2 Raging Bolts. You know, we take our time a little bit here now. We're chilling, we're chilling. Prime is great to make sure you take the first 2 prize cards. Yeah, that's definitely a big deal for sure, right? Getting the first 2. Seems pretty good. Well, there's looking at this, so that was that. Take a look at the Dragapult, but yeah, Dragapults are so boring. There's nothing crazy going on. This one has 3 counter catcher, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna start skipping the Dragapults, to be honest. We haven't looked at a wall deck yet, so let's take a look at a wall here. Oh, I did look at the ones from the Champions League, but yeah, for anyone who's curious what the wall decks are, this is it. Melodic, can't be hit by Terra Pokemon, pretty good. Farigiraf EX, can't be hit by basic EX Pokemon. And then, of course, you have the Cornerstone Ogerpon, can't be hit by things with abilities. So, set up your optimal Waller, start swinging on them, go from there. Heavy Crispin, Heavy Arven, Turbo Energize, TM Evos for stuff like the Melodics. 3-3 Melodic line. Usually with the Farigirafs, like, you set up like one Farigiraf to beat most decks. That Farigiraf is your go-to. But I guess that's probably changing moving forward. People are going to be teching for the wall decks. And then Pokevital A, man, all the A-specs are getting used. Heal 150 damage from one of your Pokemon. We saw something similar to this in a wall deck that was played in Baltimore at the beginning of the season, I want to say. They played Scoop Up Cyclone to be able to cycle through the fighting Ogerpons. It was a little bit different, though. Because you have like more time, but this thing is like allows you have like, instead of like, you could play Scuba Cyclone here instead of the Pokemon, but like Scuba Cyclone doesn't make sense with Melodic or Farigiraf as well, but you also don't lose your energy that's attached to your Pokemon, but it gives you like more time with your walls, because a lot of decks do play some ways to attack Farigiraf or Melodic, but getting over 150 extra HP is tough for sure. That's tough to deal with. Wall is good for slowing things down. I mean, I don't think it slows much down in terms of the other decks. It's just whether or not the other decks want to tech for it, or if the other decks can tech for it. Some of the decks, I believe, probably can't. Like, can Dragapult really tech for Melodic? I don't know if it can, to be honest. Yeah, I'm actually not sure if, like, Dragapult can actually tech for Melodic. I'll click on it. I'm done clicking on Dragapult decks. They're boring. Another walls. This one is just Mimikyu. This is just Mimi, the deck. Oh, 4 Luxurious Cape? Yo, is this it? Yo, this is kind of broken. This is kind of broken, to be honest. I'll try Reversal and Pult. The thing is, like, the Melodic deck has no incentive to get ahead on the prize exchange, but I guess maybe they would have to, because they can't just sit there and, like, Dracloak punch them over and over. You also have to find that combo as well. It seems like a lot. Tapu Koko and Pult is the answer. Ooh, I like that. The Tapu Koko and Pult. I like that. I like the Tapu Koko. Wait, couldn't Tapu Koko also be your answer in? No, that wouldn't work. It's different techs or different walls. Is it worth it to tech for Melodic or the other decks for a regional? Depending on how popular and how successful you think they'll be. Any deck is worth teching for depending on how popular and successful you expect it to be. It's a combination of those two things that tells you whether or not it's worth it to tech for a deck. If you're asking me, like, right now, should I? Yeah, you shouldn't think about it just in terms of, like, oh, is it actually worth teching for wall decks ever in the PokemonTCG? Honestly, that's the answer is yes. The answer is always yes. For Atlanta specifically, I don't have an answer yet. I'll probably be able to give you an answer as we get closer, though. The best thing right now is to come up with what the tech could be for the deck you plan on playing. The best way to combat walls, and then decide as you get closer to determine whether or not it's worth doing. Hazel, how is walls gonna handle Mega Guardi EX? Not gonna be great. It's not gonna be great for the walls. You appreciate the 7 months there, Dark Snake. But I'm sure there'll be a Pokemon coming out. Oh no, it's just an EX, right? I'm sure we already have an answer. We have Crustle. The answer is Crustle. We'll take a look at Crustle later today as well. Yeah, but this is a Mimikyu build. Quad Mimi. Got our Turbo Energize, get the energy on our other Mimis. And then 4 Luxurious Cape. Those are some big Mimis. That's 170 HP Mimikyu with a Mist Energy, with a Pokevital A, with a Super Potion. Heal 60 damage for one of your Pokemon if you discard an energy to touch that Pokemon. With the... No way. Saguaro? Oro? Saguaro? Dude, this card sucks. Dude, Grant had one of these in his control deck before UIC, I think. Dude, this card sucks. It might be good in this deck, though. It's just funny because Grant had it in his control deck before UIC. Saguaro sighting. But yeah, this seems pretty good. Another way to build walls. Just Mimi walls. Like, you're just all in on the Mimikyus. There could be something there for sure. Here's that Guardy. Here's the Klefki you were looking for, Chance. Chill, two! All right, I don't know if you need 2 Klefkis. Put a nest ball in here, bro. Cut one of these things. But, yeah, Klefki does seem pretty good in the current format. You go first. Take away their fan rotoms. Not bad, man. Go first and take away their fan rotom. It's pretty good. That's pretty impactful. That's kind of all you're shutting down, though, right? It's fan rotom. Oh, Ogerpon, I guess, cycling. No, there's no rotom. There's no Luminion. 2 Klefkis, there is no heavy ball. That's not a good enough reason. If you're going if you want to use Klefki, you want to be doing it going first. You're not going to have heavy ball in your opening hand, even if it was legal. Don't you need 2 to protect first prizes? People didn't play 2 last format. And heavy ball's not a good response to that because you were never finding your heavy ball in the... You need Klefki and you're active on the first turn going first. Here's a mill deck. We're probably not going to see many of these. Or Great Tusk. Dude, I hate this. No Radiant Greninja anymore? This deck sucks, dude. What the heck? Fighting Pawn. This deck has to be terrible. But it did gain a new addition in the exchange ticket. After counting your prize cards, shuffle those onto the bottom of your deck and then take that many cards off the top of your deck. Put them as your new face-down prize cards. That's kind of cool, I guess, for getting like your neutral zone out of your prize cards or getting a Great Tusk out of your prize cards, which is always annoying to prize. Even stuff like the Palpads and the counter catchers and stuff like that is still pretty nice. Dude, this deck has no engine, though. I feel like, okay, there was a point in Mill's time when Mill was first released, when it was first becoming a deck, people were hyping up Dunsparce in Great Tusk. And I thought it was terrible. And it definitely was terrible. But now might be the time for Dunsparce Great Tusk. This deck without DTE seems super terrible. Ooh, that's true. That's a big hit. It did lose DTE. Yikes. That is a big yikes for sure. So you're like all in on Sada's Vitality. Man, yeah, this deck probably just has to suck, to be honest. It probably just has to suck. Do you prefer when rotation was the weekend of an IC or how it is now falling on the weekend of a NA regional? I think rotation would be a little bit more hype if it came out with a set release. Oh, it's kind of the reason that is though is because we only have 3 ICs now. That's why it's not. Because right now, going into Journey Together would have been EUIC usually. And EUIC would have been OCIC. But now that we don't have... Yeah, like I said, it is better for the set release to coincide with a major event. One of the ICs. But you kind of just can't do it now. We just need to bring it. We need another IC, to be honest. I need to bring back one of the ICs. Yeah, they need to bring back an IC. Counter gain. You said it will be the same weekend as NAIC. That is true, but it won't be rotation specifically. Yeah, counter gain does seem pretty good in here. This build is playing 3 handheld fan though. I don't know why, but they don't have room for counter gains, I guess. Looked at Mill. There was the Guardy with the Klefki. I used the Brilliant Blender, rocking the Blender, skipping the Dragapults. Another Raging Bolt build, but we've kind of seen that at this point. Gholdengo with the Dunsparce and the Scizor. Dude, Badoo, well, I guess you have more one retreat Pokemon in this build specifically. Scyther, Double Dunsparce, Pheasantipity, Monkey Door. You could also just open the Badoo. So this build can get into Badoo turn 1, I guess, going second. It still feels weird to play Badoo when you have the 2 retreat gimme ghouls, but you technically can get it done. I think we're just on that one. If there's anything in this one to take a look at. Anything new, anything fresh? Oh, I think I checked that one actually already. How? Archaludon, Monkey Dory. Double Dory Archaludon. Obviously for the Dragapult matchup. Still Tuturo, still the Palpad. This one is the Scoop Cyclone. Dude, everyone's got the Scizor in here. What is the Scizor that good against? It's got to be... Well, I guess it's probably pretty good against Terra Box, right? Scizor's got to be pretty good against Terra Box, actually. Yeah, seems decent. Okay. What is this? This is a pure Clefairy deck, right? Rabska. Dude, why are we only playing 2 of these things? Why would we not play like 4 of them? Well, I guess at some point. Well, no, why not? Why not like 4 of these things? So this literally is just a Lily's Clefairy Doll EX deck with Rabska to protect against Dragapult. Why bother with Xatu? Why not just play Owls and Ogerpon? Because you're just trying to go all in on Clefairy. It's just a Clefairy deck. It's not Terra Box. You just need 1 to activate to throw off the prize trade. But a Clefairy deck without Area 0 is not hitting that hard though. So I feel like you'll need more than 1 sometimes. I feel like you could definitely want 3. You'll push 60 months there. Arceus the Grand. I feel like I feel like you could go further, right? I think it's possible. Jet energies. The jets are weird, but I guess you need. Do you really need that much? Do you need jets? I guess maybe to reset Ursaluna in the late game. And I guess it helps if you can't find your rescue board for your Tatsugiri. But I feel like just playing 2 rescue board at that point makes a little bit more sense. There are successful City League lists playing Heavy Clefairy plus 4 tools, but with Noctowl. How are they getting their energy in play? All right, let's see what else there is to take a look at here. Okay, we got some. This is just what, Raging Bolt? Or just Terra Box? We've seen that already. Flareon build, though. Flareon deck. The Eeveelutions are here. Unless you hold Psychic Energy for Xatu. Grass Pawn. Oh, so it's still just playing Grass Pawn and then moves the energy over E-Switch? Okay, sure. Is that better than just playing Xatu? I mean, maybe it is. It's a pretty powerful option to have, I guess, as well. Yeah. The Flareon deck. This deck actually has Pikachu in here still as well. You got Pikachu, Flareon, Sylveon. Flareon, for anyone who doesn't know, is like the best evolution, I guess I would say, probably overall. 130 for Fire Colorless. Search your deck for 2 basic energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon on the shelf of your deck. And then Fire, Water, Lightning, 280. Can't attack next turn. It's a pretty big hit, though. What's kind of unfortunate about honestly, what's kind of unfortunate about this deck is it doesn't attack turn 1. Like, this Eevee, for anyone who doesn't know, can evolve if it's in the active spot during your first turn. But that combo just doesn't happen, right? Like, turn 1 going second, you're never turn 1 attacking with Flareon. Which kind of sucks. Like, it's just never happening. It could happen, but it's probably not happening. Which kind of sucks. There's like too much stuff to come together. I played both variants of the Slowking, and I think the Teal Mask is more consistent. Teal Mask Slowking? Eevee is good because you go from a single prize board immediately to a Flareon. Well, yeah, you can like bench Eevee, put in the active evolve to Flareon in a single turn, which is cool. But I feel, you're not doing it like turn 1 going second is what I mean. Like, that's kind of unfortunate. The deck can't abuse that. Well, the best way to play it. I'm sure you could build like a turbo build that probably can pull it off a decent amount of the time, but it feels like it's not happening. Yeah, the biggest thing is like getting this thing in the active. Getting this thing in the active is the hard part. You have to open the thing. If you don't open it, you need to get it and then switch into it and then have Flareon and then have Energy Return and then have Crystal or Crispin. It's like too many things. Obviously, Fan Rotom, Noctowls. This one is also playing Water Pond. Gotta play the Water Pond. It's a broken card. If you can play it, you play it. And then 1 EVEX, which I forget what this thing does. It's just a tankier Eevee, basically, right? Keeps your energy a little bit safer, probably. Something like that. Heavy on the Crispin. It is always cool. This is one thing I do like about the Pokemon TCG. In terms of... It feels... And this is like another thing to like kind of... I don't know. Like some cards like Crispin come out and people like talk about them early. And the Crispin didn't have like that. It was a good card in the format before rotation. But now it's like one of the biggest cards post-rotation. I don't know. It's just really cool to see the evolution of the game like that. Let's take a look at this other Flareon list here. See if it's that different. Doesn't look like it. This is honestly a deck where this makes a little bit more sense. The Kirano, however you pronounce this thing. this makes a lot more sense because you can Noctowl for it turn 2 and then find a bunch of EXs. It makes a lot more sense. This one has the Leafeon EX. Grass, Fire, Water, 230. Heal 100 damage from each of your bench Pokemon. That's a lot. This is actually like a lot of healing. Like a lot of healing. That's a lot of healing. This is pretty good against Dragapult, obviously. Heal off all the spread. And then 60 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Less good. I don't even know what that'd be good against, to be honest. Because you're not even getting like the 1 KO on like Charizard or anything like that. Because they can just put like 2 energy in play instead of 3. And you're not even 1 KO on a Charizard. Guardy. 60 times. If they had 5... I guess against Guardy, you could maybe 1 KO a Gardevoir EX if they put like a bunch on a Drifloon. But even then, I don't think it's happening. Pretty cool. All right, let's see what else there is to look at here. Seen all these at this point. Oh, what is this? Future Thorns? Of course. This is... Of course, Future Thorns with the reboot pod. Gotta love it. Yeah, I don't know what to... Is Thorns that good? Next format? What are we shutting down? It doesn't seem very good. Doesn't seem very good. Have we looked at the Swine yet? We have not seen a Swine pop up yet, no. Another Flareon deck. Just like double Leafeon, but besides that, pretty similar to everything else we've seen. Let's take a look at the Conkeldurr deck, see if there's anything crazy going on here. But, I don't know, this is pretty standard as far as... Dude, what? 2? We've seen 2 Irises fighting Spirit in decks? I could see it. It's like a heavy draw supporter, but it's not research, so you're not discarding your whole hand. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Because sometimes you play a deck like this and you're just like, man, I just wish I had a research. But Iris is like a pseudo research where you don't have to discard everything, but you draw a good amount of cards. All right. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Iris, how do you pronounce that word? Canon. Dude, Canically? Dude, how do you pronounce that? Canon Ikali. Uses conch, it makes sense. Maybe that's why they ran it. I'm not even gonna try. Canonically? Canonically, right? Who did that? Nicaroni with the breakdown there. Canonically. Iris canonically uses... I understand what the word means. I just don't know how to pronounce it. It's crazy that what I said is just a lie. Oh, it's not even real? Iris doesn't use Conkeldurr? Dude, slap just back here lying. What won this one? There was the Archaludon. This, okay. See what's next. Anything crazy? I'm eventually we're going to run out of decks that are worth looking at, but let's see. Let's take a look at another Guardy build. I wouldn't mind seeing another Guardy build. It feels like things are pretty standardized, to be honest. This actually might be the exact same 60. This is like 1 card different from the other Guardy build we looked at. Flapple is actually somehow getting in here, though. This is the second Flapple deck that we've seen rising through the ranks. Another Poison Archaludon, but this one's still, it's pretty similar to the other one we saw. Dude, I hate this deck. This deck is just like ugly to look at. This is disgusting. I absolutely hate this deck. I just hate this. It's not Flapple. Hydrapple. What did I say? Flapple? Yeah, Hydrapple. My bad. Got a Froslass deck here, though. Let's take a look at something. Let's take a look at the... We'll do the Froslass deck first. Froslass, Espathra. What's the Espathra in here for? Where's the Espathra lining up? I actually don't know. Deck aesthetically, 0 out of 10. Literally, yeah. Terrabox. This Pathra's good against Terrabox. Awkward for Terrabox. Okay. You got the Espathra in here, of course. The Monkey Dories with the Frost. I mean, it's a Frostlass Monkey Dory deck with Badoo. Like, obviously, that's like the main combo. Ursaluna for the late game. Espathra, I guess, is good against Water Pond mostly. Yeah, sure. I could see it. What is this? If it's in the active spot and is damaged by an attack, The attacker takes 6 damage counters. During your next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. Oh, it's mostly here for the corner, right? But also, it's an active anti-Badoo. It's mostly there for the retreat lock for sure, though. It's not there for the ability. 2 TM Devo. All right, this is kind of cool. A Gravity Gemstone. It's cool. It's cool. Yo. No. It could, though. Does Banette Gardevoir survive? No way, no way. All right, let's take a look at these Charizard decks. Anything crazy going on here? Charizard, Pidgeot. You got this guy. If there's a stadium plays attack, does 60 more damage to discard the stadium. Is this just to have a 1-prize attacker? What the heck is this thing for? Yeah, what is this thing for? I'm sure Poland will find a way. I'm not sure if they will this time, to be honest. I think they're done. They're cooked. Discard the Terra Stadium. Cornerstone. I guess you could attack with this twice into a Cornerstone. There's got to be a better answer. For Grass Pawn. Ooh, it does kill Grass Ogre Pawn. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. It allows you to win the trade against Grass Ogre Pawn. True, true, true. It's a Dusknoir build. Pidgeot. Man, I feel like they should just cut the Dusknoirs, bro. Get a Rabska in here. We got TM Evo. Cut the Dusknoir stuff. Get a Rabska in here. What are we doing? I feel like this is trolling, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Do Japan players play different? What do you mean? The answer is probably no to whatever your follow-up is. The answer to your question on its face is no. It doesn't play its own stadium. That's true. I guess you're hoping they have an Area 0 in play, but what if they just don't? What if they just don't have an Area 0 in play? 3 rare candy? There is only 3 rare candy. That's cringe. The 3 rare candy is also pretty cringe. We do have Team Evo to kind of supplement our early turns, I guess, but... Why do people play Chi-Yu instead of Ho-Oh from Surging Sparks? Not sure, but I also don't know what the Ho-Oh does. Okay, let's take a look at these other Charizard builds here. Charizard, dude... I hate this. Is such a ugly looking deck, man. Like Charizard with you got the Water Pawn. Like, should you even have Charizard? Why do we have Charizard in here? It's basically trying to be Terra Box. Dude, people just love forcing Charizard into stuff, bro. It's crazy. People are just like, yeah, there's like a better way to play Terra Box, but what if Charizard was my Terra in the box? Like, this is gross, man. I hate this. I hate everything about this. All right, Charizard to Dunsparce. Do I like this one anymore? I mean, it's Charizard with the Dunsparce instead of Pidgeot with Enriching Energy, bro. The Enriching Energy can't be it, bro. The Enriching Energy cannot be the ace spec of choice in a Charizard deck, bro. Unfair Stamp. Wait, what are the other good ones? Hero's Cape. Hero's Cape is also good in Charizard. What does the card do? Yeah, Enriching Energy, for anyone who doesn't know, when you attach this card from your hand to a Pokemon, you draw 4 cards. But Charizard doesn't need to see that many cards. You candy out your Charizard and that's it. You're like, all right, I'm good. All right, I got it. No Arven. It is a no Arven build. That's a good point there. Researches and Ionos. Gotta have the Briar, of course. Gotta have the Briar. This one also has a Chi-Yu, but dude, they can't even. What is the better Chi-Yu? If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this attack does 90 more damage. Oh, this Chi-Yu I feel like makes more sense. I feel like this Chi-Yu makes a lot more sense for sure. And obviously with the Enriching Energy with Charizard, you don't need to attach return to Charizard because Charizard gets you your energy. So you have the flexibility to attach this for turn, but I just can't see this being it, bro. I cannot see Enriching Energy being it. Who knows though? Maybe it is. How does it set up? Just research into Candy Charizard. Yeah, I mean, you got the Dunsparces as well. You get like a Palafin and a couple of basic Pokemon turn 1. That's, I mean, research plus the Dunsparce, that's a 10 card draw right there. That's like, that's a lot of cards to see. You get the Enriching Energy involved. Bro, 14 cards? We're cooking at that point. All right, I love it. I love it. Perfect 60. Catch me at Atlanta playing Enriching Energy to Dunsparce Charizard. All right, that was all on this one. Wait, what won this one? I can like kind of track them. Well, maybe just go through this. This first page should be. Well, we're gonna start going through these a lot faster because there's gonna be nothing new to look at. Like, am I really trying to look at another wall deck? Nah. Ooh, okay. Ceruledge Reverum though. Let's see what they're cooking. It's just 2/2 Reverum with Ceruledge. Brilliant Blender. Reverum, for anyone who doesn't know, one of the up-and-coming draw engines in the scene now that rotation has hit. We don't have B-Barrel anymore. We don't have Refinement Curlia, but we do have Revavroom. It is competing alongside the Dunsparce, which definitely seems to be the superior of the two draw engines. But Revavroom is looking to make his name known in the Journey Together format. It's got the ability Rumbling Engine. You must discard an energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once in your turn, you may draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. So unlike something like B-Barrel, we're drawing that extra card here. Now, it does come with the trade-off of having to discard an energy from our hand, but comboing with a deck like Ceruledge, that's no problem, because in this list specifically, we have 19 energy to work with, and some energy recovery. Got the Super, got the Night Stretcher. So yeah, Revavroom in the remainder of the 2025 season, and going into the 2026 season, it's trying to leave its mark on the format, future formats. Yeah, but Revavroom obviously not a great draw engine, but it does seem like it makes sense in something like a Ceruledge. But besides that, I don't know, Revavroom probably is not going to find a home in many places. Only one Buddy Poffin? What the fudge? One Poff? How many Buddy Poffin were we normally playing in this deck? Is that like actually accurate to what people were trying to people were playing like last format? All right, let's see. I'll take a look at the Guardy. I'm interested to see if there's anything. No, nothing different. This one actually has a Cleffa. Cleffa seems pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. There's like you have TM Evo. Dude, there's no TM Evo. Never mind. I'll say you have so many better things you can do turn 1. The Purdue, TM Evo, no TM Evo. All right, we're out of here. Not really intrigued. The Charizard decks are just gonna tilt me, I feel like. The more I look at the Charizard decks, the more tilted I'm gonna get. Although this one, Prime Catcher, I respect the Prime. I do respect the Prime Catcher. And we got a new one prize fire attacker in the Iron Moth. Heal from this Pokemon the same amount of damage you did to your opponent's active Pokemon. So we're obviously not using it for the first attack. It's got to be the second attack. Fire Color is 120 during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from ancient Pokemon. Hey, yo. Ancient Box. We got him. That's a dub. Appreciate the 10 months there. Agree. What do you think about the new Delmise and Gardevoir? Mawile? I have no idea what the Delmise does. Does it just have retreat locking? It just depends on if retreat locking is good at all or not. Speaking of Primeazul, have you heard of a swell program called Twitch Prime? In fact, I have, Slap. But yeah, just another Charizard. Pidgeot deck. 4 Rare Candy, though. 2 TM Evo. All right, chill. Now that feels like overkill in the other direction. The perfect balance is 1 TM Evo, maybe, with 4 Rare Candy. 2 TM Evos. Especially if you're playing Badoo, man. I feel like we're Badooing a decent amount of time, right? Otherwise, why are we playing that thing? Dude, I just don't even want to look at it. All right, let's move on. Another Froslass deck. Froslass, Monkey Dory, Melodic. Got to get that involved. Still has the Cactus. And then Fighting Ogerpon and the Ursaluna. I don't know about these Froslass decks, but there could be something there for sure. Take a look at the rest of ones here. We do have a Hops deck down here, but then also we have this Greninja Xatu deck. Greninja Xatu. Cycling those Mirage Barrages. And honestly, well, I was going to say, I mean, besides Gardevoir, there's not that much Psychic Pokemon, right? But a lot of people have Clefairy in their deck. So that's a thing. Yeah, Greninja, there might be a little bit too many Psychic attackers in the format. I don't know, with the lack of Manaphy in the format, maybe you can just keep up with cycling Mirage Barrages with Greninja after Greninja after Greninja. Just start to pick apart some boards. I could see it. It's definitely an interesting build. Mirage Barrage Xatu build. I can see it. I feel like it needs a Badoo maybe, but besides that. All right, let's take a look at this. Hopsation. It is the dark build. For anyone who's curious about this build, it's a really interesting build. It's pretty sick. I don't think it's that good, but it is cool. So this build revolves around using Zacian for Insta-Slash, and that's it. And then from there, you're either using that over and over again against stuff like Dragapult. Your setup is Zacian plus Monkey Dories. Get Snorlax in there as well. But then against stuff like Raging Bolt or 2 prize decks, you initiate with the Zacian, they knock it out, and then they enable your Cramorant. That does 120 damage if your opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. And if you have no other 2 prizes in play, you can go back-to-back Cram attacks. They can hit pretty hard. You're doing 120, 150, With the Stadium, we're looking at 180 with the tool card. Only 3 tool cards. I guess we have 4 Arfin. We're looking at 210. 210 with a cram. That's pretty good. Solid numbers for the cram, you know. You appreciate the 9 months there, White Wizard. So that's not bad. It's not terrible, right? I don't think this deck is beating stuff like Raging Ball consistently, but with the TM Devo, I could see this deck being actually pretty good against stuff like Dragapult. But it's a cool way to play the deck, to be honest. That isn't just hit for a billion damage with Brave Slash. Because to be honest, getting there is just really tough. Like, yeah, Zacian is not great. Yeah, not great. Not great at all. Because you have to like play with Archaludon or like Matang. Matang's still in format, right? Yeah. How do you get the damage for the monkeys? You don't self-generate it. So you up against decks that can't want to KO you. They'll generate the damage for you, basically, is how it works. You sit there, you punch stuff, you spread damage to the bench, you get punched by a Dragapult, you have 2 or 3 Monkey Dories set up, you move all the damage back to their side of the field. Or other decks that can't one-hit KO you. So obviously going up against stuff like Raging Bolt, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. What won this one? It was the walls. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Charizard. Oh, that's the Mammo. All right, we'll take a look at the Mammo. Let's take a look at how people are doing the Terrapagos. Oh, so this is the Buffalon Terrapagos deck that a couple of y'all have mentioned in chat already. No Pidgeot is a little bit of a surprise. I'm not going to lie. The lack of Pidgeot is a little bit disturbing, but it is like a lower HP 2-prize attacker, but it isn't really that much lower HP. Because this thing's only looking at, what, 230? Get a Boof involved. We're looking at 290 HP on the Terrapagos. Bravery Charm. Boost that up by a little bit more. So 290 plus the Bravery Charm. Am I missing some other kind of modifier that's happening here? So we got Glass Trumpet for Energy Acceleration, 3 Crispins. Not only we have, what was I going to say? We have other ways to use the Crispin as well. There's like Monkey Dory in here. There's the Fighting Ogre Pawn, the Cornerstone Ogre Pawn. And then we do have a Clefairy in here, because obviously we need to be able to one-hit KO. Dude, everything just has a Clefairy in here to one-hit KO them. The Dragapult. Why Ditto is so good right now? It's just good with Fan Rotom, that's it. It's just good with Fan Rotom. It's not like specifically really, really good right now. It's just, it combos well with Fan Rotom. You Fan Rotom for the Ditto, you retreat into the Ditto becomes Terrapagos or a Monkey Dory or a Buffalon or something like that. Or I guess like Fan Rotom's gonna find Buffalon anyway. But yeah, it's a way for Fan Rotom to find Terrapagos, basically. Like, so then all of a sudden Fan Rotom becomes that. What does Brock do? You can search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon or 1 evolution Pokemon. That's it. That's the whole thing. Nothing else. Yeah, Ditto's pretty sick for sure. Ditto's pretty sick. Yeah, but this is interesting. I feel like there needs more Bravery Charms here. I feel like 1 Bravery Charm is not enough, but maybe it is. Maybe you just need that 1 big Terrapagos, and that's all you need. Because no one's playing like no one's playing like vacuums or anything, and they can't tech vacuums. I guess that makes sense to maybe not have Pidgeot in here as well. Like I was saying, like it is like a lower HP 2-prize Pokemon, but like not that low really. So I feel like Pidgeot still seems pretty good in here, but maybe it doesn't work out with the bench base of having the Monkey Dories as well. That could be like a reason to not include it. I don't really want to look at more Dragapult decks. Yeah, it's boring. We're not looking at that. Although this one did have, that's a luxurious cape. I don't know what we're caping. That's a big Badoo. 130? Mammoswine, we'll take a look at that. All right, let's see what the swine looks like. So Mammoswine, for anyone who doesn't know, 340 HP, Mammoth Carry. Once on your turn, you may search your deck for a Pokemon and put it into your hand. And then Reverberating March, 2 fighting energy, 180, 40 damage for each bench stage 2 Pokemon you have in play. So 180 is still decent to begin with. You're going to get the Pidgeot online. That's only 2 rare candy? What the heck? This is like living off the TM Evos heavily. Wait, that can't be. 2 candy is like, that's not that many candy. And then we play the Luxray in here, which says once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your hand and you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, you can just put it onto your bench as a stage 2. So that's how you get more stage 2s in play to fuel the Mammoswine attack. 2 rare candy feels fake. And then we got the Garganackle in here for energy acceleration. Just attach the fighting energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. It also heals 30 damage from them. That's not super relevant, but that's how you actually can set this thing up turn after turn. Reversal energy in here for the Luxray. Can't use the reversals with the Mammoswine, unfortunately. But manual attachments. Oh, this build plays Neo Upper. So we have the Neo Upper to... Wait. It's just any stage 2, right? Yeah, so you can Neo Upper to the Mammoth, which is interesting. I've seen... most builds that I've seen play the Cape. But do kills the candy. That is true. I mean, I think you still want to play heavily through TM Evo for sure. I do like the 2 double TM Evo and the thick stage 2 lines, but only 2 candies still seems a little bit low. I don't know. Seems a little bit low. What about Gengar? Ooh. Gengar is kind of a good shout, to be honest. I forgot about Gengar. Yeah, Gengar is kind of a good shout. That's interesting, actually. Rotated? Oh. Yeah, this one's cool. The other one that you could play, which I haven't seen any builds actually play, is the Klinklang. The Klinklang says you can put it in play from your hand as a stage 2 Pokemon onto your bench if your opponent has a stage 2 Pokemon in play. I haven't seen anyone playing that one. But there's also not a ton of stage 2 decks in the format. There's a decent amount. And you could do it while you're ahead, potentially. But I think that this deck falls behind pretty consistently, so the Luxrays are probably good enough. But yeah, I really like the Mammoswine deck. The Mammoswine deck is like super, super sick. I'm excited to try this one out. All right, let's see what else we got to look at here. Zoroark deck, but there's not going to be anything too crazy, I doubt. Yeah, nothing crazy, nothing wild. Plays the Squawkabilly. The Flareon deck. Let's go next. What won this one? It's a Charizard, so it's that one. Well, Hydreigons. Oh, we haven't taken a look at a Feraligatr deck. Actually, there was a Feraligatr deck, and I just didn't look at it in an earlier one. We also have a Ursaluna deck here. Hydreigon with the Toedscruel. Gotta have the Toedscruel. Another Toedscruel in a Hydreigon deck. Chill. Let's take a look at the Feraligatr deck. This is a big deck. This deck won the most recent Champions League. Not this list specifically, but this deck. Feraligatr deck with the trolley. So for anyone who doesn't know, the main attacker to utilize in the deck is the Feraligatr. 180 HP. It's got the giant wave attack for 160. You can't attack. But you can put 5 damage counters on your Feraligatr, and then your attacks do 120 more damage. So the big attack can do 280, but your previous evolutions are actually just as big of attackers, and you do play a Relicanth in here. Only one Relicanth? What happens if you prize the Relicanth? You got the reverse thrust, you can hit for 30, and then you switch to the bench, so you can send up Mimikyu or the Melodic and just wall with it. Or, and this is like the strategy I think I saw get utilized most consistently with this deck, was the Big Bite strategy. You evolve to Feraligatr, you use Relicanth, so Feraligatr can now copy Totodile and Big Bite, do 10 damage, and then they can't retreat. So you set up 2 Feraligatrs, you set up Monkey Dories, and then you just Big Bite trap something while you move all the damage off of your bench Feraligatr to your opponent's side of the field. But this deck has a ton of options. You can do that. You can do the reverse thrust thingy. You can hit really hard with Giant Wave. You can set up Melodic and just have Melodic out there. And we see there's 2 Luminous Energy in this build, so you can set up the Fighting Ogerpon. You can set up the Mimikyu. Yeah, this deck is like wild. A lot of options. Not a lot of space, though, and that's why they play the Precious Trolley to get set up initially. Precious Trolley to get set up and go from there. And then besides that, they have 1 Artisan, 1 Ultra Ball, and 1 Buddy Poppin'. So you prize your Trolley, you're in trouble for sure. Yeah, the deck is pretty sick. And it did win the most recent Champions League. I don't know how popular it's going to be moving forward. So I don't know how good it is, like for how the meta has kind of changed. If this deck is actually that good moving forward, but we'll see. It is kind of nice. It is nice to, like, I was talking about this earlier with Manaphy and like the new Shaman that's coming out. It's nice to not have a card that's kind of like a catch-all. Appreciate the 53 months there, Shadow. Appreciate the 13 months there, Mr. Nick. Canceling Cologne was kind of like that card for stall decks. Like, Canceling Cologne would allow you to KO any stall Pokemon, right? KO's Mimic, you get to Mimikyu, you get to Melodic, gets to Ogerpon. So it is nice to have Canceling Cologne rotate. And that's why, like, stall decks can be so good now, because it's like, well, I guess there's like more variety for decks last format. Lugia was a big reason that stall decks kind of struggled. But if Canceling Cologne was still in the format, it would be like an easy add for a bunch of decks just to add a Canceling Cologne or something like that and be able to like solve their stall woes potentially. But you can't do that because it rotated. Here's another quad Mimikyu deck, it looks like. Yeah, the quad Mimikyu. This one has 4 mist. The other one only had 3 mist. I think the only other thing to check in this one is this Flareon, not the Flareon, the Ursaluna deck. Oh, there it is. My favorite deck, the Gholdengo Dragapult deck. Let's go away from that and take a look at this Ursaluna deck. It is Baby Ursaluna. I thought it was going to be Baby Ursaluna. We sniping early? Hey. How about that? Yeah, Baby Ursaluna, for anyone who doesn't know, When you play it from your hand, you can attach 2 fighting energy to it when it goes to your bench. You see the 9 months there, Naller. And then it does 100 damage plus 30 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon for fighting colorless. Ting-Lu in here, 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and discard a stadium if there's a stadium in play. Wait, is Ting-Lu spread real? There's only 2 Iron Valiant in here. We're not super heavy on the Iron Valiant. Iron Valiant can get kind of cheesy with the Zacian as well. Because it does 30-30. So you get this on it, you're doing 60. You can like snipe like Dreepies and stuff off the bench turn 1 by getting double Iron Valiant off. Like Iron Valiant Zacian could be kind of cheesy, to be honest. Also, 3 Gravity Mountain. Jeez, chill out. I'm not sure about this one, to be honest. I'm not super intrigued. It seems okay. It seems okay. Ting-Lu is interesting. I saw Henry was pushing the Ting-Lu propaganda on Twitter recently. Moon? Okay, we gotta peep the moon. Is this just like Ancient Box though? Let's see. No, that's Moon. We got the Sadas. Dude, this thing is not attacking till the next turn though. Oh, we have 3 E-Switch. We can pull off. Oh, so you can go attach Sada, E-Switch over Frenzied Gouging. And there's some, yeah, Janine's Secret Art. Choose 2 of your dark Pokemon. Oh, I forgot to put 1 on 2 Pokemon. Roaring Moon lives. You just have to play 4 Energy Switch and some EXP shares. I don't know. Maybe that's enough. Everything else got worse. So maybe Moon is decent still. Maybe it's still decent. Everything else got worse. So, interesting. Definitely interesting. All right, what won this one? All right, let's take a look at this last one here. What is cool here? Blissey Poison? Blissey... This isn't cool. I don't know what it is, but it's not cool. What is this one? Oh, they have the Marnie's Grimmsnarl stuff. I don't even know when we're getting... This one's not worth looking at, to be honest. You appreciate the 46 months there, Pokedubs? Yeah, I don't know when we're getting that stuff. I'm not gonna... No. It's gotta be garbage, right? Survival Brace, though? One more Hop Deck to take a look at. This one is, once again, the Monkey Dory build. No one's attacking with Hopzation, unless it's a counter to Ogerpon, which is kind of sad, to be honest. But yeah, there's no great way to get energy on this thing. It's nothing great. Archaludon and Matang are so... He's got to invest so much. Man. All right. I think we're going to call it there for taking a look. We look at a lot of decks, look at a lot of lists. I mean, yeah, that's what's winning. That's what's doing well over in the City Leagues in Japan in the Journey Together format post-Champions League. Champions League happened. That's what people are playing over there. Definitely interesting. Some things to take away from that as we're going to be getting Journey Together next week.